What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Steph, also known as the Freckled One. In today's video, I wanted to show you what my sweat resistant makeup routine is. I did this look. I wanted to show you all of my tips and tricks on how I get my makeup to last on these ridiculously hot, sweaty days in Los Angeles specifically. And I know that a lot of us are experiencing heat waves right now or hot, humid weather. And so this isn't necessarily like a summer routine because I mean, even here in LA in October, it can be brutally hot. But I created this look using some of my go-to products. I didn't really change up my entire makeup bag, filled it with like waterproof or sweatproof products per se, but I use a couple of techniques and layering techniques that make my makeup last through a really hot, sweaty day. And so I hope that you enjoy this video. But before we get into it, per usual, I want to give a shout out to all of our new subscribers. Hello! Welcome to our channel. We are so happy to have you here and thank you so much for joining us. And of course, our special subscriber shout out today goes to Catherine Hurst. Hello, Catherine. Thank you so much for subscribing and thank you for leaving such a sweet comment on one of my older videos, but even just in the last 2 weeks, you left a really sweet comment. And I'm so excited that you've joined us all the way from the UK. And thank you so much for your support. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so I have cleansed, put on my serum, moisturizer, and then a light, even layer of sunscreen, SPF 50 to protect my face from the sun since we'll be out in the sun today. And first things first, I'm gonna put my hair back. It is so hot in Los Angeles right now, and I've had to pre-air condition this room before having to turn it off to film because I'll just be sweating through this entire tutorial. I'm not gonna go through all of the products because I think for me personally, just to ensure longevity of my makeup through a sweaty day, it's not super about the products themselves, but about the techniques that I use, the light layering. But of course, I will list all the products down below. So to start me off with my base, I'm just going to conceal a little bit. I have a lot of redness right now, and that's pretty typical for me just in the summertime when my skin is just exposed to the elements a little bit more. But that is all of the concealing that I'm going to do right now. I'm going to take this Real Techniques crease brush. I find that it's actually fantastic for concealer. I don't know if any of you follow Katie Jane Hughes on Instagram. She is a New York-based professional makeup artist, and I have just been inspired to use a very light hand and work in really light layers. I mean, especially for this kind of makeup that needs to last all day. But she uses very minimal product and then buffs things out with a small brush to kind of feather things and make them look seamless and as natural as possible. And as you can see, that just really evened my skin tone without covering up very many of my freckles at all. Okay, next I'm going to do a light cream contour. I know I said that I wasn't going to talk about products, but this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in Light Medium. I've been using this every single time that I do my makeup. It is so easy to blend out. If you are someone that's new to contouring, this is a fantastic product because it really does buff away as long as you don't put on a ton of product. And you will see just how easy it is to buff out. So that's all I'm gonna put. Watch this magic. I'm gonna use this e.l.f. airbrush blender. It's kind of a slanted top, and I'm just going to press and really take my time with blending this out. And I don't want to bring this too far into my face. If anything, if I want to swipe, I'm going to swipe upwards and then lift my brush. But do you see how that already created a shadow that's very natural looking? And I'm just gonna blend this up into my temples. With this contour, I mean, with contour in general, I try and not drag it down because that brings my cheeks down. It kind of brings the whole look of my face downwards, which, you know, I mean, maybe that's for some folks, which is great, but I want to push up, not bring down. Watch this, how easy it is. And it just softens so beautifully. I like brought back the dimension to my face. And then same thing with this. I don't want to bring it too far up because then it'll also be very obvious that this is contour and not natural. And then of course, what's on my nose needs to be blended out. I just use the same brush. No big deal. And there you have it. So now I'm going to use a cream highlight. And I'm only going to do it very minimally, but I really just want to bring a little bit of attention to the high points of my face, and I'm going to use, oh, look how pretty that is. I'm going to use my fingers to warm up the product so that it's easy to kind of filter out and make look a lot more natural. Amen. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit on my nose bridge because I love that, and then just bring it down. And then just blend this out with my fingers. And a little on my Cupid's bow. Really pretty, simple highlight. Next, I'm going to use a cream blush, and I'm going to use this Real Techniques Instapop Cheek Brush. I'm going to take a little bit on the brush and then stipple it on the back of my hand because I don't want all of that product on my face. And I'm going to put it fairly high, kind of where I put my highlighter. And I'm going to bring it up here because, and I'm not going to dip back into the palette. I'm just going to take what's left on the back of my hand and do the same. I like putting my blush on my forehead a little bit because that's where we also naturally flush when we're a little sunburned. And I can bring it and swoop it across. And I think that looks so fresh and happy. Now that I have done all of my cream products, I do want to set my entire face extremely lightly. So I'm going to use a loose setting powder and take this on a brush. This is the setting brush from Real Techniques. Clearly I'm a fan of Real Techniques. Super affordable at the drugstore. And I'm just going to tap out, press my concealer in, make sure it's not creased, and then just very lightly press this powder on. I don't want to miss any spots because I'm going to layer other products. I don't really care too much about up there, but with my cheeks, I don't want to miss anything. So now I'm going to go in with a powder bronzer now that my face is set. The reason why I set my face with loose powder or any kind of powder, pressed powder before this is because I don't want the powder bronzer or powder blush to adhere to the more tacky cream products that are underneath. That can get really clown looking very quickly. So I'm going to take the powder bronzer on this Real Techniques light layer powder brush. I love this brush. And I'm just going to very lightly feather this over my face. And you can see that I still have a little bit of glow peeking through, so the sheen hasn't completely gone away. And finally, to bring back that blush a little bit more to my face, I'm going to use a powder. I'm going to mix a couple of shades here. Tap off the excess, and then again, very lightly pressing that over. So as you can see, I've put on a lot of layers, but it doesn't look like I have. You can still see all of my freckles. Honestly, my pores don't look super enlarged, which I love, and I'm sure that they will momentarily as I get out in the sun. All of these really light layers on top of one another have helped create a really natural look, and I think that as the day goes on, when the sweat happens and all of that, and my pores get big and I'm hot, it'll help the makeup last a little bit longer because I haven't caked a bunch of stuff on my face. Last step is to seal everything in place. I just got this from Benefit. It's their new Porefessional Super Setter Spray, and it really does help my makeup stay on during these really, really hot days in LA. So I also love this mister, is also so fine. And that really just helps all of the powders melt together for a more seamless, natural finish. And I think this looks awesome. Now to really seal the deal in, I'm going to use a little bit more of that loose setting powder on that same brush. And I'm just going to tap this into my T-zone. This is gonna lock absolutely everything in. And even though it's gonna be a fairly mattified look, at least in the down the center of my face, I know that as the day goes on and I get hot, all of that shine is going to peek through again, so I'll be okay. And I still have a really nice luminosity to my skin. All right, for eyes, all I do is grab that bronzer, take a fluffy brush, and then just wash this over my lid. And you can see a difference just between this side of my face and this one, and I prefer adding a little bit of depth on my eyelid. I'm just gonna fill in my brows. I've done something interesting, but I got a very light colored eye pencil, but I've been finding that I think I've been filling in my eyebrows a little too dark for my liking, and so I just wanna add definition, not necessarily pigment, and so I'm hoping that this helps. So you can see I have it filled, but it's not necessarily super dark, which I like. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna use a hint of brow setting gel. When I sweat directly into my brows, and so I have kind of no expectation. I mean, I have giant eyebrows. There are a couple of products that I know can hold them up pretty well, but I just think having realistic expectations when it comes to a really hot, sweaty day is key, you know? The makeup isn't going to be perfect at the end of this. Now I'm just going to curl my lashes. Hello. And before mascara, I do want to put on a little bit of eyeliner just to kind of make my eyelash line stand out a little bit. And I'm just going to smoke it out a smidgy. Honestly, I would normally just put on a lip balm, but I just got this BUXOM Plumping lip liner in the shade High Def Honey, and I do want to line my lips just a smidge, and then just blend it out and soften it up. Finish it off with a little bit of lip gloss. And there is my sweat-proof makeup routine, y'all. Oh my gosh, before I forget, Freckle pen. What am I doing? I'm gonna have a pretty sweaty afternoon because I'm going to be outside and gardening, but I will show you what all of this looks like after I've sweated out a little bit. As you can see, I'm wet. I'm dripping with sweat. It's running down my chest. It's running down my neck. My hair is sticking to my neck, and I wanted to show you what the makeup looks like right at this second. But I think it looks pretty darn good. I'm obviously dewy, like I said I would be, but everything still seems in place. The concealer hasn't dripped down or anything. The powder has held all of that together. My blush, bronzer, contour, all of that's still good. And my brows, like I said, hold a lot of sweat when I sweat. So here's what I'm looking like right now. After I finish up outside, I will check in with you again. What up? So I just finished up outside for the day. And I didn't put my hair back. You know when you don't put your hair back and it just really needs to be back. So this has been irritating me, but my neck is grossy. I'm obviously sweaty, but that, here's the makeup. Not bad. It's not perfect. I drank some water so my lip stuff went away, but it's not perfect. A lot of the bronzer on my forehead has probably been swept off by my wet bangs that weren't clipped back, but I'm happy with that. And that is the finished routine. I hope that this is a testament to how effective this is. Obviously, it's not going to stop me from sweating, and it's not going to, I mean, I was just doing manual labor out there. Physical movement, body's moving. So I'm happy with how this is still looking after all of that. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you aren't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of fun around here. Stay cool out there, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care, be safe, and be kind. Bye.